it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my March and April book haul for you, so stay tuned. So in March I didn't really accumulate a whole lot of books because we were in the middle of moving and all of that. However, in April I did accumulate quite a few, and so I thought I would just combine the 2 months. And I have 25 books here to show you, 10 of which are middle grade and 15 are, well, young adult and possibly some adult. I think there's young adult and adult in there. So I'll put a timestamp for the older books. I'm going to do the middle grade books first, and then I'll do the others after, and I'll put a timestamp, so if you want to skip to that, you can. It'll be down in the description. So here are the 10 middle grade books that we got in March and April. So the first book that I have here is one that we pre-ordered off of Amazon. Xander and I read the first book in this series and we really enjoyed it. So as soon as we finished that, we pre-ordered the second one. And it just came out. And that is Arusha and the Song of Death by Roshani Chokshi. And the first book is called Arusha and the End of Time. And it's about a little girl named Arusha who lives in this museum. Her mother runs the museum. And it's all about, I believe, Hindu mythology and folklore. And Aru is a bit of a storyteller. Her lies tend to get her in trouble. And at the start of Arusha and the End of Time, she's just gotten busted for a lie by some kids at school. And she tells them this other story, which is a real folklore story that, you know, she played up. And it was, if she lights this, I think it was a candle, that it'll awaken the god of death or the god of time or something like that. And it'll start the end of times or something like that. And she didn't really believe that it would actually happen, but she told this story like it would, and these kids dared her to actually do it because they didn't believe her. And well, she did it and really messed things up because it wasn't just a myth, it was real. And now she has to go forth and try to fix what she's messed up. And turns out she is one of the Pandavas, which is prophesied to fix this mess. And in the past, I think there's 4 or 5 Pandavas, but in the past they've all been boys, they've all been brothers. And it seems this time it's all girls. They're the Pandava sisters. And it was super cute. And other than Aru, we had only met one other of the Pandava sisters in the first book. And at the very end, we were introduced to a third one. And so I think that's going to pick up with this one. And just looking real quick at the flap here, I see something about the god of love's bow and arrow have gone missing and the thief isn't playing Cupid. Instead, the culprit is turning people into heartless fighting machine zombies. And if that wasn't bad enough, somehow Aru gets framed as the thief. It's going to be another really fun story. I can't wait to get into this with Xander. Okay, the other 9 middle grade books that I have here all came in Doodle Crate and Tinker Crate boxes for Xander. So they're all like either art or science related. So the first one is Our Story Begins. Your favorite authors and illustrators share fun, inspiring, and occasionally ridiculous things they wrote and drew as kids. And when I was looking at this before, I just kind of quickly flipped through it. Here's R.J. Palacio, the author of Wonder, in her cute little brownie uniform. And there's this little picture and story here called The Winged Steed that she wrote. Very cute. I forget, there's a whole bunch of other authors in here, but that was just one I happened to notice when flipping through. Next we have Artists and Their Pets, True Stories of Famous Artists and Their Animal Friends by Susie Hodge. And again, flipping through this, we have things like Norman Rockwell and his pet, or Pablo Picasso and his pet. Andy Warhol, Salvador Dali, several of them, and I thought that was pretty neat. Next we have The Red Pencil by Andrea Davis Pinkney, and this is illustrated and it's a bunch of poems. Looks like so. This says, finally Amira is 12. She wants to learn to read and write, to set free all the big ideas she finds herself sketching in the sand. But girls like Amira don't go to school. Still, she can't help but hope for something more. Her dreams are pushed aside when the Janjaweed militia storms her small village, shattering life as she knows it. As Amira starts a long journey toward a new life at a refugee camp, she feels her spirit slipping away, until the gift of one red pencil opens her mind and all kinds of possibilities. And I thought that would be a really sweet, fast-paced book to read with Xander. Next we have Nick and Tesla's High Voltage Danger Lab. And this says, warning, contains mystery, adventure, and explosive projects you can build yourself. An abandoned house at the end of the block. A mysterious girl in an upstairs window. A strange black SUV lurking around every corner. When Nick and Tesla Holt are sent to live with their eccentric Uncle Newt, they find their new neighborhood is full of secrets. What the heck is going on? To unravel the mysteries and save their skins, Nick and Tesla must use everyday household objects to build electromagnets, rocket launchers, and other crazy contraptions. And illustrations are included throughout the story, so you can build them too. And I thought this would not only be fun and probably a little educational to read, but also it's cool that it has like these little science project kind of things in it. And Xander would love doing that. Next we have Zentangle for Kids, the fun and easy way to create magical patterns. And it's just a little step-by-step how to do certain designs. Then we have STEM Quest, Tools, Robotics, and Gadgets Galore, packed with amazing techie facts and over 30 fun experiments. And again, it's just a book of different kind of experiments, like make salty clay for ceramics, or make a model yacht. Next we have The Emperor's Riddle by Kat Zhang, and this is an honorable mention Freeman Award winner. This says, Mia Chen is on what her mother calls a grand adventure. Mia's not sure what to make of this family trip to China, and she didn't want to leave her friends for the summer, but she's excited about the prospect of exploring with her Aunt Lynn, the only adult who truly understands her. Then, Aunt Lynn disappears, right after her old nemesis, a man named Ying, comes to visit. Mia knows that years ago, when Aunt Lynn and Ying were sent to the Fuzhou countryside to work as laborers, the two searched for an ancient treasure together, one that still hasn't been found. She's suspicious that their shared history might be linked to Aunt Lynn's disappearance. When Mia discovers an old map filled with riddles in Aunt Lynn's room, she quickly pieces together her mission: find the treasure, find her aunt. Now Mia, along with her big brother Jake, must solve the clues to rescue the person she knows best in the world, and maybe unearth a treasure greater than her wildest dreams. And I thought this was going to be one that Xander and I really enjoyed together. It very much gives me the feels of like a Rue Shaw, that kind of thing. Like epic adventure. And it's only 235 pages, so this will be a rather quick read. Next up we have Trash to Treasure Paper Making. Make your own recycled paper from newspapers and magazines, can and bottle labels, discarded gift wrap, old phone books, junk mail, comic books, and more. And well, I mean, I think it pretty well described what it's about. But again, a fun thing for Xander. Next, another educational book, and this is the last of the middle grade. We have The Bacteria Book, The Big World of Really Tiny Microbes by Steve Mould. And I mean, these germs are so stinking cute. We got like bacteria with superpowers. Mega molds. That's really disgusting looking. the exact kind of thing Xander would enjoy. And now onto this giant stack of books that are for me. So the first one I have here is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sagar. This is a book I believe I learned about from Kayla over at Books and Lala. I think this is one that she read during the Buzzword-a-thon where the buzzword was lie. And I think this is one of her favorite thrillers, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I do think so. That's why I got it. But I know she really enjoyed this book. And this is about a group of kids who are at camp and they're all playing this game, Two Truths and a Lie. And then at the end of the night, one of them stays in the cabin while the rest of them go sneak out, and then they're never seen from again. Fast forward to years later, the one that remained in the cabin, she is now invited back to the camp to be a counselor or something like that, I think, or a teacher. Oh, a painting instructor. And while she's there, she hopes to learn more about what actually happened that night and try to put the pieces together. And if Kayla liked this, I'm sure I'm gonna like this. I'm excited to read this. I've heard a lot of people say they really like that book. And that was a book that I got from Thrift Books. And another one that I got from Thrift Books is Please Ignore Vera Diets by A.S. King. And this is one of Kayla's favorite authors as well. And it's about a girl named Vera who's had this crush on her best friend named Charlie for like ever. And she knows everything there is to know about Charlie. And then Charlie ends up dead. And she's the only one that really knows, I guess, what he was up to and what he wasn't up to. And she's got to decide whether to clear his name or not. Something along those lines. Okay, another book from Thrift Books is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alir Sinise. And this says, Dante can swim, Ari can't. Dante is articulate and self-assured. Ari has a hard time with words and suffers from self-doubt. Dante gets lost in poetry and art. Ari gets lost in thoughts of his older brother who is in prison. Dante is fair-skinned. Ari's features are much darker. It seems that a boy like Dante, with his open and unique perspective on life, would be the last person to break down the walls that Ari has built around himself. But against all odds, when Ari and Dante meet, they develop a special bond that will teach them the most important truths of their lives and help define the people they want to be. But there are big hurdles in their way, and only by believing in each other and the power of their friendship can Ari and Dante emerge stronger on the other side. And I believe there is a male-male romance involved in this as well. Also, this, I believe, is one of my friend Clint's favorite books. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. Sticking with the books that I got from Thrift Books, the next one is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a book that a lot of people had to read in school, and well, I didn't. And I know my daughter, Rebecca, she did have to read it and really enjoyed it. And well, I wanted to read it. And this is told from the perspective of a young girl living in the South whose father is a lawyer, and he is risking everything to defend a black man that has been wrongfully accused of a horrendous crime. And this is based back in the time when there's segregation and the Ku Klux Klan and all of that. And well, people aren't taking too kindly to this lawyer defending this black man. Next up, we have The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Again, this was another book I got from Thrift Books. This was my most disappointing book because it's literally falling apart. But Thrift Books did actually refund me the money for this, so I'm not terribly upset. But if you don't already know, this is all I really know about this book, is that essentially it's two cancer patients fall in love, and it's a heartbreaking story, which it seems I'm typically here for. This kind of makes me think of 5 Feet Apart, which I absolutely loved, and I know that a lot of people loved this movie. My daughter saw it multiple times and cried every time, and I'm pretty sure she read the book too. So I'm really looking forward to reading this soon. And continuing with books from Thrift Books, we have Shadowhunters and Downworlders, a Mortal Instruments reader, edited by Cassandra Clare. And this says, join Cassandra Clare and a circle of top YA authors as they explore the world of the Mortal Instruments. And y'all know I love anything Cassandra Clare, anything Shadowhunters. I love it. This says, inside you'll read a cinematic tutorial on why the best friend Simon always loses out to the bad boy Jace. The benefits, no really, of incest, at least in literature. What we can read between the lines of Alex and Magnus's European vacation. The importance of friendship, art, humor, and rebellion. And more from the virtues of Downworlders to the naughty side of shadow hunting. Wow, I just noticed like when this kind of came out in the lineup of all the books, and it says #1 New York Times bestselling author Cassandra Clare created the Mortal Instruments in 2004 with City of Bones. Since then, the series has grown to 5 books, with a 6th one due in 2014, and been joined by 2 spin-off trilogies and an upcoming film starring Jamie Campbell Powell and Lily Collins. Yeah, so this has been out for a while. Okay, next up, another book from Thrift Books. We have My Life After Now by Jessica Verdi. This says, what now? Lucy just had the worst week ever. Seriously, mega bad. And suddenly it's all too much. She wants out. Out of her house, out of her head, out of her life. She wants to be a whole new Lucy. So she does something the old Lucy would never dream of. And now her life will never be the same. Now, how will she be able to have a boyfriend? What will she tell her friends? How will she face her family? Now her life is completely different. Every moment is a gift. Because now she might not have many moments left. I thought it sounded really good. And it's short too, or at least it seems short. It's only 287 pages. Okay, the next Thrift Books book is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And this is about a guy named Jason who is abducted and knocked unconscious. And when he comes to, he's in this like alternate reality where before he was a college professor and now he's like regarded as this famous genius. And his wife is no longer his wife. His child was never born. And he's got to figure out what happened, and I guess he has to decide if he wants to stay in this new reality or go back to the reality he's always known. And I think this is one of G over at Book Roast's favorite books, and I've had this one on my wish list on Amazon forever. Okay, and then the last of the Thrift Books books is Lies She Told by Kate Hollahand. This is another book that I learned about from Kayla over at Books and Lala. Another book that she read during the buzzword readathon with the word lies or lie. And this is one that she really enjoyed. It's also quite thin. Again, only 278 pages. This says, from the author of one of Kirkus Review's best books of the year, The Widower's Wife, comes an electrifying story of love and deceit. The truth can be darker than fiction. Liza Cole, a once successful novelist whose career has seen better days, has 1 month to write the thriller that could land her back on the bestseller list. Meanwhile, she's struggling to start a family, but her husband is distracted by the disappearance of his best friend, Nick. As stresses weigh her down in her professional and personal lives, Liza escapes into writing the chilling exploits of her latest heroine, Beth. Beth, a new mother, suspects her husband is cheating on her while she's home caring for their newborn. Angry and betrayed, she aims to catch him in the act and make him pay for shattering the illusion of their perfect life. But before she realizes what she's doing, she's tossing the body of her husband's mistress into the East River. Then the lines between Liza's fiction and her reality eerily blur. Nick's body is dragged from the East River and Liza's husband is arrested for his murder. Before her deadline is up, Liza will have to face up to the truths about the people around her, including her own. If she doesn't, the end of her heroine's story could be the end of her own. Now I remember when Kayla was talking about this and she was saying how it was so good. It was going back and forth between what's actually going on in our main character's life and then also getting to read the story that she's writing at the same time. And it goes back and forth between her reality and her story, and that it was done really, really well. So again, another book I'm really excited to read. Okay, next up I have 2 giveaways that I won. The first one was a giveaway hosted by Minotaur Books, and that's for Stone Mothers by Erin Kelly. This says, after a lifetime of lies, the truth is deadlier than ever. Marianne was never supposed to return to town. She thought the dark shadow of the Nazareth Mental Hospital stopped following her long ago. But when her husband moves them into one of the notorious hospital's renovated apartments, she is forced to face deep-rooted family secrets and a lifetime of dangerous lies. And all I really know about this, 1, it's a thriller, and 2, it's based on this big bad mental hospital that was like abandoned or shut down or something, and now it's been completely gutted and renovated to become high-end apartment complex. And I mean, that sounds pretty creepy to me. I don't personally think I would ever want to live in a place like that, but that's what we got here. And this book actually came out on April 23rd. So I'm a bit behind because this was an ARC and I was supposed to read this already. So I should get on this soon. Okay, so this next book that I won was from another booktuber's giveaway, and that is Barbara Centini, and I'll make sure to link her channel down below. But I won, oh, this is a heavy book. It's an ARC of The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakrabarti. I'm sure I said that wrong, but isn't that pretty? Now, this book actually came out in January of this year, but this is a sequel to City of Brass. So I've pulled it up on Goodreads here so I could tell you about that book, because I don't want to tell you anything about this one because, well, it's a sequel and I don't want to spoil anything. So this is what it says for City of Brass. Nahari has never believed in magic. Certainly, she has power. On the streets of 18th century Cairo, she's a con woman of unsurpassed talent. But she knows better than anyone that the trade she uses to get by, palm readings, czars, healings, are all tricks, sleights of hand, learned skills, a means to the delightful end of swindling Ottoman nobles. But when Nahari accidentally summons an equally sly, darkly mysterious jinn warrior to her side during one of her cons, she's forced to accept that the magical world she thought only existed in childhood stories is real. For the warrior tells her a new tale, across hot, windswept sands teeming with creatures of fire and rivers where the mythical Maraud sleep, past ruins of once magnificent human metropolises, and mountains where the circling hawks are not what they seem, lies Daevabad, the legendary city of brass, a city to which Nahari is irrevocably bound. In that city, behind gilded brass walls laced with enchantments, behind the 6 gates of the 6 Jinn tribes, old resentments are simmering, and when Nahari decides to enter this world, she learns that true power is fierce and brutal, that magic cannot shield her from the dangerous web of court politics, that even the cleverest of schemes can have deadly consequences. After all, there is a reason they say to be careful what you wish for. And I think that sounds amazing. I do believe that I have that book. It's just packed away at the moment. But I'm happy to have the second one as well. And this is a hefty book here. Oh, and it looks as though there's a glossary in the back. And I guess tells you about the 6 tribes of the Jinn. Cast of characters. But the actual story is 609 pages. Okay, next are some books that I got in a subscription box. I believe these came in the Totally Booked crate. So the first one I have is Fire and Heist by Sarah Beth Durst. And this says, leading your first heist is a major milestone in Sky Hawkins' family, even more so than learning to talk, walk, or do long division. It's a chance to gain power and acceptance within society. But stealing your first treasure can be complicated, especially when you're a Wyron, a human capable of transforming into a dragon. Embarking on a life of crime is never easy, and Sky's mission uncovers deep secrets about the mother who recently went missing, the real reason her boyfriend broke up with her, and a valuable jewel that could restore her family's wealth and rank in their community. With a hand-picked crew by her side, Sky knows she has everything she needs to complete her first heist and get back the people she loves in the process. But instead, she ends up discovering a dark truth about were-dragon society, a truth that is more valuable and dangerous than gold or jewels could ever be. And it's such a small little book. Like, compared to this, you can see how this is a beast compared to this. Also, it's like a little under 300 pages. It says there are some things more precious than gold. Also in the Totally Book Crate, we got Crown of Feathers by Nikki Powell-Petro. And this says, I had a sister once. In a world ruled by fierce warrior queens, a grand empire was built upon the backs of phoenix riders, legendary warriors who soared through the sky on wings of fire until a war between two sisters ripped it all apart. I promised her the throne would not come between us. 16 years later, Veronica is a war orphan who dreams of becoming a phoenix rider like the heroes of old. After a shocking betrayal from her controlling sister, Veronica strikes out alone to find the riders, even if that means disguising herself as a boy to join their ranks. But it is a fact of life that one must kill or be killed, rule or be ruled. Just as Veronica finally feels like she belongs, her sister turns up and reveals a tangled web of lies between them that will change everything. And meanwhile, the new empire has learned of the riders' return and intends to destroy them once and for all. Sometimes the title of queen is given, sometimes it must be taken. Crown of Feathers is an epic fantasy about love's incredible power to save or to destroy, interspersed throughout the story of Akira Ashfire, the last rider queen, who would rather see her empire burn than have it fall into her sister's hands. Okay, so the last two books I have here are books that I got from Amazon. So the first one is a used book, and that is Where the Stars Still Shine by Trish Doller. And this says, what if you found out that the only life you've ever known was a complete lie? Stolen as a child from her family and on the run with her mom for more than 10 years, Callie has only the barest idea of what normal life might be. But after Callie's mom is finally arrested for kidnapping her, and Callie's real dad whisks her back to what would have been her life, she must find a way to leave the past behind. She must learn to be a part of a family. And she must believe that love is more than just a possibility. By turns heartbreaking and hopeful, this sweet and sexy romance offers a whole new take on happily ever after. And the last book here is probably the book I am most excited to read. That is The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is book 1 in the Eldest Curses, and oh my gosh, I am so excited for this book. Okay, so this follows Alex and Magnus on their grand European trip where you really get to see more in depth how their whole romance develops and all of that, and I'm so ready for this. I love Alex and Magnus, and I can't wait to read this book. So have you guys read any of these books? Do you like them? Do you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you.